Right, morning fellas, welcome back to another Villa on Tour video. Today I've teamed up with Luke 1977 to talk all things European Championships. Myself, Dan Bardell and Finn Tapp from Love Island will sit down, talk England, who we think is going to win the tournament, all things like that, and of course stick around because at the end of this video, I know it's a long one, it's sort of like a podcast style thing where we discuss all things Euros. There is a wiki quiz at the end, which is a good laugh, so stay tuned for that. Big shout out to the lads as well at Luke 1977. You all know you can use the code MAX20 to get 20% off almost anything at Luke 1977, and of course we're doing it at Villa Park. Luke have kindly given us their box to film today, so big shout out to them. Use the code to get 20% off. Without further ado, stick around because this video is really enjoyable. It's a great watch, it'll get you really excited for the Euros, so stick around and leave a like on the video. Subscribe if you are new, we're very close to 40,000 subscribers. Go and subscribe to the Villa View, which is what Dan is part of. Finn's socials will be in the description as well, so check everybody out and stay tuned, enjoy the video.
So Max, 2 friendlies are over now. Not sure that we learn anything in particular from England in those 2 friendlies because the players being away, playing in the Champions League final meant that we were a bit hamstrung. We've been able to select players for the friendlies, but has it made you more positive going into the tournament, or is it giving you more worries than you had before?
They're just turgid. They're always just so dull and boring and slow friendlies. I mean, we're not exactly playing big sides. I think Austria, they're in the tournament, aren't they? But Romania aren't.
Romania aren't.
It's just boring, isn't it? And especially when you're not playing your full-on 11, when you've got sort of mix and match players who aren't going to play. For example, Sam Johnston last night, he's never going to realistically play. So we didn't really learn much, no. I think we're all going to talk about Grealish at some point. He's a standout man of the match yesterday against Romania, but I don't know. You've still got the likes of Foden and Kane didn't play yesterday, so there's more names to come in, Mason Mount as well. So did we learn much? No, not really.
Finn?
I think, for me, Jordan Henderson playing 45 minutes yesterday was the best part of the friendlies. For me, I think he's a player I want. Don't necessarily think he will start because of his sort of lack of fitness, but I think a fully fit Jordan Henderson starts in an England team any day.
Yeah.
So him getting 45 minutes, I was watching thinking that's positive for the tournament.
It's been out for months though, hasn't it?
Yeah, this is the problem. There's so many players.
Or something, yeah.
Yeah, we've like going into the tournament like we have done every tournament since I was born, really, of someone's carrying a knock. But because of the unique nature of the season and the way it's been, Henderson hasn't played till February. Maguire's picked up an injury. He hasn't played in any of the warm-up games. Grealish has ended the season playing 2 games, starting 2 games for Villa, but even he's not at peak fitness. I think Rice has had an injury. Phillips is carrying a shoulder injury as well. So there's players all over the park that aren't at their optimum fitness. But what do you make of all that? Finn, I'll come to you first. What do you make of the fitness worries that we've got going into the tournament? I suppose every country's got them because Belgium have got a couple as well.
I think it is a massive part, obviously, but I think it's more of we've got enough strength attacking-wise where I don't fear injuries too much. But it's the defence where it's like, well, Trent's now not even going.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And I think Trent was, again, vital for England, but even more so for the back 3, back 5, back 4, whatever you want to call it. I think his absence is going to be huge, but I think we can cope with 1 or 2 injuries in the attack. Because for me, that's the hardest part, picking the
it's going to be difficult.
front 3.
I think it's the centre-back region, isn't it? That's the worry, I think, because he's taken Ben White, he's the 26th.
Yeah.
But with no Harry Maguire, what do you do? Because there was 3 centre-backs and then there's obviously Ben White on top now, so there's 4. But there's a lot of combos there, isn't there? I don't know, there's people talking about Tyrone Mings in the friendlies. He had a couple of shaky moments, didn't he? So, I don't know, that's a talking point. And like Finn said, I think attacking-wise, I don't think we've got too many issues. Just defensively is where I'd worry personally. Yeah,
I mean, we're going to have a go at picking the team shortly. I'm sure it'll be quite difficult to pick the team because everyone's got their opinions. It's the attack. But mind you, both sides are difficult to pick. You've got the attack and the defence. They're both going to be difficult to pick for different reasons. And Max, England, in the Euros, you can make 5 subs as well. So England have got the potential that they've got some players on the bench that can really change a game. That's a positive going into the tournament. Yeah,
definitely. I think going forward, there's definitely impact substitutions. I think in my personal England 11 that I play, there's not a lot of pace. I think Sterling's had a difficult season. Rashford's been getting a lot of stick recently, especially in the Europa League final where he struggled a lot. Even against Romania, he struggled, although he got the goal. He's not at it. So there's pace to come off the bench. I get that. There's creativity and things like that. I probably would have taken Ward-Prowse maybe as my 26th man with Trent coming out. So Yeah, there's options there. I don't think going forward we've got players to change the game, so that's not a worry for me. It's just starting defensively that's a problem.
Yeah, and we've got all this attacking talent, Finn, but Southgate is quite pragmatic.
Yeah.
He's quite a safe manager. You could see him quite easily playing 3 at the back, 2 wing backs, and then 2 defensive midfielders, and then you've only got the 3 attacking players on the pitch. You kind of think with this England squad, you want them to play with the handbrake off a little bit.
Of course, and I think it's almost like PSG, for example, when they play, it's exciting. It's like, you know what you're going to get, full on attack. I think we've got the capabilities to be almost like that, in a sense that teams will fear us with the attacking force that we've got. I feel like if we do put the handbrake on a little bit and go defensive, that's what teams are going to love. Because although they might not get as much possession, or we might be harder to break down, we're not applying that fear.
Where do you sit with Southgate, Max? Because I know, obviously, we're Villa boys. Villa fans are not keen on Gareth Southgate. I've got to say, I actually quite like him. I think he gets a lot of undue criticism, but I would say there's stuff that I think he could work on as well. Where do you sit with him?
I think he's a nice guy, a bit like Dean Smith. He might be a little bit too nice. I think we all know what we're going to get. He's going to be relatively safe. Like Finn said, we could easily go all out with the attacking options that we've got, but we just don't see it. I think he's played 4 at the back in the friendlies, hasn't he? And
but I think that's because he hasn't had the centre-backs available to pick.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you've got 4 centre-backs in the whole 26-man squad, so can you really play 3 at the back? I guess he's got the players to do that, I guess, with Mings and things like that. You know, he's pacey and he's okay on the ball, but I don't know. Yeah, but I like Southgate, but I think there's better options maybe out there for England. I think if we do struggle in this tournament, maybe it's time for a change, because he hasn't really done anything in his career. I don't want to slam him and things like that, Southgate, but he hasn't.
We talk about his managerial career.
Yeah, in his managerial career, he hasn't managed any big sides, has he? He was at Middlesbrough, wasn't he? But he hasn't managed these big players. So I think if we do struggle this year, okay, he did well in the World Cup, but look at our route to the semi-final. Like, we should be winning those games. So it's a tough one.
I don't know whether you've looked at all the permutations and stuff in, but actually England might be better off finishing 3rd in some ways, because if you finish 1st, actually the route is horrible, because you could quite easily end up playing France, Portugal or Germany. It's weird, isn't it, when these tournaments are weird anyway, because it used to just be top 2 go through and that's it, but now you can finish 3rd and go through. In the last World Cup, he kind of made sure we finished 2nd, didn't he? So we had that better route. Do you think he might try something like that again?
I think it's definitely in his mind. I don't think... For me, I do believe every game should just be, you go out, win it, no matter who you're facing next.
Yeah.
Should be, again, we go at it, we beat them. But it's got to be in his head that if you finish 1st, you're gonna, feel the full force of, like you said, Portugal, France or Germany.
Yeah.
So it's like, it'll be in his mind, but I don't think, if we're on a good run, I don't think he'll outweigh his confidence in the team to be like, right, let's maybe start a slightly weaker team. For me, England on their day beats a France or beats a...
You think France even?
I do.
Honestly, that is a big shout.
That's a big shout.
I actually do. I do feel very confident in England coming into this Euros, but they have to be on their game. And if they are on their game enough to win our group, I then believe that we could very much well be on our game to win against Portugal.
Momentum.
Yeah, exactly. Momentum. That's what it is.
Yeah.
If you say maybe lose a game to come 2nd, and yes, you might face a slightly less of an opposition than the other teams in whatever group. Is it Group F they are? France, Portugal, Germany?
Yeah.
If you're coming off of a defeat or whatever to become 2nd, you then haven't got that momentum to maybe be like, right, we'll pick it back up to beat them. So I think just go out and win every game. And that's as simple as it is, isn't it?
It's a massive shout to say that we beat France. I think even taking on France's 2nd 11 might be... Yeah, their squad's ridiculous.
They can have like 4 squads.
Their under-21s are pretty good as well.
Yeah. They're a joke.
Croatia first. Bit of not a rivalry, but they're a team, obviously, that knocked us out of the last World Cup. Difficult opponents, but then we did beat them in the Nations League. I don't think they're quite the side that they were. As an opening game, I'd imagine it would probably be quite cagey.
Yeah, it's at Wembley as well, isn't it?
Yeah, that's an advantage, though, isn't it? Playing at Wembley, that's a massive
100%.
advantage.
Yeah, I fancy us in that game. I think a lot of our games are at Wembley, aren't they? So I do fancy us. Whether we're good enough to beat France, I don't know. But
Finn says so.
No, definitely.
Clip that up for when France beat us in the round of 16. But no, I do fancy us against Croatia. I think we should be going all out to win the group. Like you said, momentum is what I'd want if I was a player. Like, if you've won your 3 games in the group, you're going to go into that France game, that Germany game, that Portugal game confident. And just go all out and win it. If you can't beat your Germanys, your Portugals, your France, you're not going to win the tournament. So
you're going to have to play someone at some
point.
point.
Of course. You're not. Exactly. I know in the World Cup we had an easy route, but when we came up against a semi-decent side in Croatia, we struggled. Yeah, exactly. So you're going to have to beat these sides at some point and just go all out and go for it.
Big one though is the Scotland game, the second game. You know what? They're no mugs now.
They're not.
They've got
they
a
drew the
decent
Netherlands,
side.
didn't they, the other day?
Yeah, they've got. I mean, I actually don't think. I think the Netherlands might be a flop in the tournament, if
possibly.
I'm being honest. But we'll come on to stuff like that. But that's a massive game. But I actually think Scotland might fancy it a little bit.
Well, no, definitely. And obviously, my missus is Scottish, so that
You sure?
day, that day.
She like John McGinn, big John McGinn fan.
They like John McGinn,
Yeah.
Scott McTominay.
Yeah, good player.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
And you know what football's like up there. It's crazy. Like Glasgow with Celtic and Rangers, it's mad. But I do believe that yes, we should be winning that game, but it's not going to be as one-sided as some games it has been in recent years. But yeah, it's going to be a big day.
Yeah.
It's the first tournament as well, isn't it? In a long time.
Yeah, 98.
Not exactly. So they're going to be bang up for it. 100%. So
Derby game as well.
Yeah.
Derby atmosphere.
Form goes out the window.
Yeah, it'd be good to say. That'll be a good watch. I mean, you two are both a lot younger than me, which we've established. But like, obviously, we played in Euro '96, and I remember it was just like an incredible occasion. Gaza obviously scored that iconic goal. Hopefully, there'll be something like that again. And you'd hope after the Scotland game, England might already be through. Czech Republic to play, but again, they got some decent players as well. A couple of good Premier League players in there. It isn't actually an easy group, I don't think at all.
No, I don't think any group is easy. Like, you couldn't see yourself going, "Oh, I wish I was in that group."
Yeah,
in any of them.
I mean, I'm glad we're not in the France, Portugal, Germany.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm pleased about that.
Exactly, but yeah, none of them are easy groups. I don't think. But a game's a game, and that's I think what Gareth Southgate will try and drill into the players and just be like, right, doesn't matter who we're playing against. A win's a win, whether we go through first, second, or third. That's the be all and end all, I think.
Let's have a go then. Trying to pick the England 11. First off, we need to agree on a formation. I find it hard to do these kind of things because I find myself turning into Gareth Southgate when I'm trying to pick them. So I kind of then straight away think, right, 3 at the back. I've got to pick 2 defensive midfielders as well. But let's pick what we think the best 11 is if we were managers in our waistcoats, picking the team.
I'd play 4 at the back.
What are you looking at? 4-3-3, 4-2-3-1?
Just a 4-3-3, 4-3-3 with a
4-3-3 as well.
Attacking midfielder and then 2 sort of just sitting or box to box.
All right then. So we'll start with goalkeeper. I mean, I've said this before. It's like asking me if I want to be sick or have diarrhea. I think Henderson's probably the best bet between.
Why hasn't he played in the friendly? Is he injured?
No, I don't know. Because Man U have been in the Europa League, I think.
Yeah, but you'd think if he was going to be number 1 at the Euros.
He's not going to. Pickford will be the number
Pickford
1.
Will start.
Yeah.
But we're saying, what would we pick?
True. I'd pick Pickford.
I do like his distribution.
Yeah.
His passing is good.
Game against Austria.
Yeah, his passing was good.
His passing was
Yeah.
unbelievable.
And he still scares me, and that's a friendly against Austria. Imagine if we're playing like France. I mean, obviously, we're going to blow France away.
We're going to beat France,
Yeah,
obviously.
exactly. You don't have to worry about that game.
No, you've still got to pick Pickford for me. I think he
hasn't done much wrong for England, would be the only thing
that's
I'd say.
that's always the argument,
It's
isn't
Everton, he's had some suspect moments.
Yeah. But Johnston, he's made the most saves in the Premier League. He had a decent game against Romania.
Great save.
An unreal save in the second half. I think he's a good goalkeeper. We'll get a move in the summer, but for me, I think it's still got to be Jordan Pickford.
All right then, so we're all agreed on Pickford in goal. All right then. Right back, I mean, this isn't as difficult as it could have been because Trent had to go home due to his injury. My personal opinion, he'd be one of the first names on the team sheet for me. He's Trippier.
Really?
Yeah. I think he's class.
I haven't watched him this season. I've got to admit, I haven't watched Atletico Madrid this season.
I like his dead balls. I think he's consistent. I think he's reliable. I think he's reliable defensively, which Southgate likes.
He likes him at left back, doesn't he?
He can't play left back. He can't.
But you know what Southgate's like. This is our team.
There's no way he's playing left back. I just think out of all of them, he's the best. And his dead ball delivery in the last tournament was so crucial to England. And if Grealish is playing, which hopefully he will be in our team, then if you're going to win a lot of free kicks, I think he's the dead ball man now. But obviously, Reece James and Walker are both excellent as well.
Yes, it's tough there, isn't it? I like Reece James as well. I think he's really good.
Just won the Champions League.
Yeah, Walker's just won the Premier League. So
yeah,
I like Walker as well. But it's a tough one, isn't it? It's a headache to have there.
I'd pick someone. What are you saying?
I would say Walker is consistent for England, but I would prefer seeing a Trippier or a James. just purely because of what James was like in the Champions League.
It's got the recovery pace.
Yeah, it's that.
Mind you, so is Walker.
He's so
Walker's
aggressive
rapid.
as well. Aggressive, he's young, hungry. I think Walker's, so as good as he is sometimes a little bit like squeaky bum time when like he's defended, I think, a little bit. So there is an argument for all of them.
It's hard. That's the hard.
Yeah,
That's the hard.
that's
Mind
the
you,
hardest
front
position.
The people behind Kane's going to be quite hard to pick.
Yeah.
You've kind of tempted me into James because I kind of think he's got the Walker pace, but then he's got a good dead ball and good delivery like Trippier as well. So actually, he's probably the in-between one that might be the better pick. He's physical as well, isn't he?
I fancy James now.
Go James.
We've tempted ourselves in
I've
Reece
said
James.
So I've said Trippier will be the first name on the section.
Reece James.
And then we picked Reece James, yeah. All right, left back. And again, fair, you go through this and it isn't easy for Southgate to pick a team.
It's not. And it's actually a nice
it's good.
thing to have, isn't it?
I think it's our best squad in a long time.
It is.
Yeah, easily.
Yeah,
1,000,000%.
100%.
Yeah, so Chilwell or Shaw then?
For me, sure.
Sure.
I think
He was
Chilwell's
decent last night.
brilliant, but Luke Shaw for the whole season. I think he's so quick, which I don't think a lot of people actually recognise.
He's a big lad as
It's
well.
because he looks
isn't
like a man down the pub.
Yeah.
But he's got that pace
really
as well.
quick. He's up and down. So I'm going Shaw.
I'd back that. Yeah,
Shaw as well.
I was always going to go Shaw over Chilwell. I think Chilwell, he's had a decent season, obviously, towards the end of the season. He was good at Villa
I was
Park.
going to say, I thought he was very
really
good
good
in
at
the
Villa
game.
Park. Gets forward really well.
That was in the back three, wasn't he? Playing on the wing back.
Yeah,
so he had a lot of freedom.
Defensively, does he worry you because he gets forward so well? But I think Shaw is so much. He's had a brilliant season as well. So I'd back Luke Shaw as well.
I think there's like a coin toss between those two, so I'm happy to go with Luke Shaw. He's been given the number 3 shirt as well. I don't know how much you read into squad numbers, but it suggests he might be.
Yeah.
So we're assuming, can we pick Maguire? Because he's not fit.
I did a bit of research and media are saying he might play some part, which suggests that...
All right, let's say it's the first game then, so
Yeah.
we'll rule Maguire out.
Right,
He ain't going to play the first game.
So was that some part in the tournament or some part in the Croatia game?
Not the Croatia game, the whole tournament.
Right.
Which
So let's
suggests
say then this is our 11 for the first game.
Yeah.
Because I think
Worst case scenario.
I think we'd all say it's going to be Stones and Maguire if they were both fit, and I think we'd probably both pick Stones. Pick Stones and Maguire.
Yeah.
So if let's say Stones is in there,
Yeah.
who's playing next to him?
I would have
That's tough.
1,000,000% gone with Mings before the friendlies, and it just struck a little bit of, I just don't know, like I trust him, but I just feel like there is some times where I just think maybe like you're
Makes
not
you
quite-
nervous. It
Yeah,
makes you
does.
nervous watching
Yeah.
it. So
I
it's tough.
love him. I do. He's my favourite Villa player. By a long way. Yeah.
He's left-footed as well.
He's left
He
footed. I
would
like
fit
that balance.
perfectly there, yeah.
I like that when he makes a mistake, which he does, I'm not denying that. I like when he makes a mistake, he doesn't dwell on it. Stones, he's a very good defender, but I feel like we were saying before we filmed, when he makes a mistake, he's probably making another mistake 2 minutes later.
Yeah.
I feel like Mings makes a mistake and he forgets about it and he'll do something good 1 minute later. I like the left-footed thing.
It's his leadership as well, isn't it?
People are saying Cody, but I don't like Cody in a back four, personally.
No.
Ben White looked good in the warm-up game yesterday. I think it's too soon. I haven't really got anyone else.
Godfrey's not going, is he?
No.
No, I think Mings is a good shout. I think I might put it down to maybe him just knowing that it's his position to lose. He was a little bit nervous and whatever in the friendlies, but I'd be more than happy with Mings there.
You're in Villa Park. You've got the Villa Park vibe, haven't you?
Exactly.
You're picking the vibe up.
But before the friendlies, I loved Mings. I thought he was brilliant.
He's been part of one of the best defensive in the
Villa have had a good
Premier
defence.
League this season.
Yeah.
So look, he's a good player, but if Konsa was in that England squad,
you love Konsa, don't you?
I'd love him. I'd fully fancy him to start 100%. I just think he's brilliant. He's great on the ball. He rarely makes mistakes.
He'd be a good international footballer.
100%, yeah, he's fantastic. And when he's got better players around him, it might just take him to that next level. So I think, look, he'll be involved in the future of England. There's no doubt about that. I think he's absolutely brilliant. And it's a shame that he's not in there, but if he was, I'd start him.
You say that, but then White and Godfrey were the ones that were called up into the 33, so you'd think they're ahead of him. He's actually got a lot of players to get past. But it's against the hardest team in our group, Croatia. So we're picking a team for that. Probably Declan Rice, I was going to say, is in all of our
100% back
teams.
that.
I really like Declan Rice.
Yeah, he's brilliant.
Again, like I said about Jordan Henderson, fully fit Jordan Henderson starts over Declan Rice for me.
Over Rice, not next to.
No, not next to. I can't have them both in the same team.
No.
That's why I can't have Calvin Phillips and Rice.
Where did you used to play out of interest?
I used to play centre back and then right back. But Yeah, as a say talking. If I was a centre back and I had Rice and Henderson in front of me, I just think, or Rice and Phillips in front of me, I just think they would both be giving me the same option all the time.
That's a good point.
I would rather someone maybe that his responsibility was coming to get the ball from me, which Rice does, which Henderson can do well. Phillips obviously does. But either or, but not together, I think.
Okay, well, I think we could probably say Henderson isn't going to start that first game
exactly.
anyway.
Yeah,
so we'll eliminate him from our thoughts. So Rice is in.
Rice, yeah.
And who are we playing next to him? Because
I want to.
Bellingham's a player.
I want to bang the Bellingham drum.
Yeah.
I don't like to do it in Villa Park because we all know he's a Blue.
Well, he's a Dortment player now.
Well, judging on social media stuff, we don't give a
doesn't
toss
care
about
about
Blues
Blues.
anymore.
No, he's not bothered.
But I think he's a brilliant player for 17 as well. The kid's a joke, and he's going to go on to do incredible things. And I think he's already played a lot for England, so that says to me that Southgate fancies him, and I'd start him next to Rice.
He's got the temperament as well, hasn't he? Because he's played big Champions League games already, big Bundesliga games. Yeah. Mm-hmm. He's a jerk. He's actually a jerk.
Yeah.
I think about what I was doing when I was 17. I wasn't playing for England and Dortmund, obviously. What a player.
Oh, he is.
Is he playing then? Because I'd actually play. I don't know whether I'd start him, I think I'd play Mount next to him.
I would.
Who are you playing in the 10 then?
We'll come on to that.
Come on to that, okay.
So I would say Mount, and then the argument for Mount would be because I wouldn't mind Foden just behind Kane, because then that allows, for other positions that we'll speak about. But, for me, Mount has to be in there.
He's banging the Bellingham drum. Can you be swayed to Mount?
I was going to put Mount in the 10.
Yeah, again, I can see the merits of that because I think he's very good as a 10. I'm more leaning actually towards putting Bellingham in,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Bellingham in, and then what,
'Cause
Mount 10?
I think you're taking I know what you're saying about having two different players. I don't think Bellingham's that safe option as a defensive midfielder. I think he can still draw forward.
Oh, no, massively, yeah.
I think what Mount offers you in a 10, you're going to get more out of him than if you're playing him as a 6 or an 8.
Yeah, no.
I would say. But initially in my head, I was thinking Mount next to Rice.
I just think Bellingham's such a good box-to-box player. It just does
That's what you want in that position, I think, is the second sitter, someone who can get in the box if needs be.
He's a big lad as well. He's fairly physical, isn't he? Next to Rice as well, he was also very physical. I think that's a decent midfield. But.
So should we go Bellingham and then Mount as a 10?
I'll go Bellingham.
Mount as a 10.
Yeah.
Mount took a bit of stick, didn't he, especially around these parts, because he was playing over Grealish for England. But he's been one of the players of the season.
Yeah, recently he's been incredible. Just
Won
won
the
the
Champions League.
Just won the Champions League.
And been a big part of it as well.
He's won the Champions League and he's been Chelsea's standout player all season.
Easily, yeah.
So
plays every week, doesn't he? So he must be doing something right. I think he's got to start. I think he's absolutely class.
People just thought, Lampard, Southgate, they both look nice and that. But then Thomas Tuchel's come in, who's a world-class manager, and he's done exactly the same. So, he's... Like I said obviously I said Trippier was one of the first names in the team. Yeah, I do think he will be for Gareth Southgate, but Mount's not far off that, I don't think.
No, I think that's just a really good midfield. There's a lot of balance there. There's Mount taking you forward. There's Rice will be sitting. I think that's spot on.
Right midfield then. This is the one where there's not an array of options.
No.
We've got all those players that can play behind Kane. I suppose Foden can play on the right, cutting in on his left foot. That's a nice option.
Yeah.
I like Sancho.
I thought he struggled a little bit yesterday, Sancho.
I agree with that.
I haven't watched Dortmund this season as well. Like, has he had a good season?
He ended the season very well.
Yeah,
he had a good end to the season. I don't know whether the Man U stuff was in his head at the start of the season, but I think he still will end up going there, to be honest. He'll go to Man U. I suppose we're picking our team, and I wouldn't put Sterling in my team. I wouldn't. But I know he'll be in Southgate's team. I know 100% he'll play. 100%. I've no doubt in my mind he'll be lining up either on the left-hand side or the right-hand side.
Yeah.
And he's never had a great tournament for England. I can think of one game for England where I thought he was really good, and it was a Spain game in the Nations League, and I can't remember if he scored once or twice, but he scored. Southgate will pick him, but he didn't end the season well for Man City. He wouldn't be in my team. Are we discounting him from our team? He's not in our team.
I just don't think he's had a great season by any stretch. I think you've got to go off form. Southgate loves him and he plays a lot of England games, but for me, he wouldn't be anywhere near my side.
Maybe it's easier to go to the left first.
Yeah.
Because on the left, we know Foden's played there for Man City. Grealish, let's face it, me and Max are probably going to pick him in our team.
I agree with Grealish.
and then Rashford plays from the left as well.
Yeah.
I'm saying left. I'm saying he's one of the first names in the team sheet. And even discounting how good of a footballer he is, if you think about a game like last night that's not going to plan, and it's 0-0, stodgy game, horrible game, you're just win you a penalty or you'll score off a set piece that he's won for you. And that's discounting all the other good stuff he does. I just think he's so important. Again, I don't think he will play. I don't think Southgate will pick him.
You not?
Nah.
I do.
Because he'll pick Sterling.
That would be mental.
Grealish is like giving him no option not to start him. I don't think.
He's doing all he can, isn't he? He got man of the match yesterday.
I think there'll be a lot of fuss kicked up if Grealish don't start.
I agree with you.
Think.
But you know what? I don't think Foden's going to start either. I tell you what I think he'll pick. Because I think we're picking our team. One, I think we'll play 3 at the back, Southgate. 2, I think he'll pick 2 cities in front of the back 3. Probably Phillips and Rice.
Can't start Phillips.
So I think he's going to start Sterling. And then that Mount's got to be in the team. So I actually think it'll be Sterling and Mount behind Kane in the first game. Yeah, that's what I think. Not what I do, but
I
that's what
actually
I
think he will start Grealish.
Do you think?
I think when Grealish was first sort of getting himself in the England picture, especially us Villa fans, we were sort of saying, just why isn't Southgate fancying him? He was on the bench, came on for a little bit, and even when he came off the bench, I think we played Belgium back in September, and he came on. He just changed the game, doing flicks all over the place, like just opening up the game. And like you said, that little bit of creativity, and he'll just open up a game, win a penalty, whatever. So I just think he's got to start. And he was just levels above everybody else.
Southgate was asked last night. He never fills him with confidence. His sound bites. He just was like, yeah, he played well, but so did many other players. It's like,
but watching Grealish and Sterling, surely.
I think the same.
There's only one.
I think if you ask Man City fans who they'd rather have in their Man City team,
100%.
I think they'd pick Grealish.
Yeah.
So we're having him in our team then.
Oh,
on the
1,000,000%.
left.
You're an Arsenal fan. You're the ones who are desperate to have it.
No Saka? No Saka? He's not
Saka.
Saka. No.
The only way I can see Saka starting is a back 3 and he plays left wing back.
Yeah.
That's the only way. But then again, if he plays a back 3 and a wing back, it means that he can start Shaw and Chilwell.
Yeah.
So
I actually like that option.
Yeah.
I don't think Southgate will do that.
No.
This is the thing, we come up with our ideas of what we think is good, but you can guarantee Southgate's mind is working in a complete different
Always come back
to
to
ours.
what's Southgate going to do?
Right, so we've got Kane would discount that.
Yeah,
I imagine Kane's, even as a staunch Arsenal fan, Kane's in your team.
Without that.
Love a bit of Harry Kane, don't you?
Do you know what, right? And it's weird because I'm an Arsenal fan, but I've got bigger rivalries with other teams than Tottenham.
But just personally because of
Just
friends?
personally because of pals and all that. I would much rather see Tottenham beat a Liverpool, for example.
Really?
Yeah, it's weird.
That is weird.
You're going to get a lot of stick for that.
No, I know. I probably am. But no, I without doubt, Kane. But I think he's, other than Lewandowski, one of the best in the world.
Yeah.
Well, we'll talk about it with Kane, though. He comes deep, doesn't he? Like in the Austria game.
And this is what everyone's saying, you need a runner, you need some pace.
When you've got a Trippier or a Reece James on the right-hand side and we're going forward and he's sort of, lurking on the outside of the box, when you need him in the middle and he's just not there, it's weird. I know it works okay with Tottenham because you've got Son sort of running off him, etc. But
they play a different system.
exactly for England.
Because if we're playing Mount in our team, if we're playing Mount as a 10, you want Kane in the box. You don't want him dropping deep because then he's getting some Mount space.
There's players that can do that. Mount, Grealish, Foden if he plays, whatever. We don't need Kane that deep.
Do you think we need some? Obviously, we're playing Kane up front. Do you think we need some pace in the side?
That's what I'm wondering because in my personal England side,
people say that, but then Grealish is quick. Foden's quick.
He's underrated on his pace.
People don't realise how quick they are.
That's like his game. Grealish is very quick, but Grealish's game is he prefers running with the ball rather than doing the run.
Yeah. We need someone getting beyond.
Yeah. So I think it's like I could think you could put Foden and Grealish in the same category whereby they will pick up the ball and run with it, and then I think you've got a Rashford, a Sancho, a Sterling where they will do the run off Kane to get the ball.
So we're saying then that in our team, because if we've picked Grealish and Mount, then we can't really pick Foden.
No,
Well, you want him in the team, don't you?
I want him in the team.
It's tough, isn't it?
Technically,
it's really tough.
I don't like Rashford on the right. I don't think it suits him. So Sterling would be the one that you'd say has got the raw pace.
Sancho, though.
Sancho's
more naturally on the right. Yeah.
My head says I'd prefer to pick Sancho. But Sterling's got more of that raw pace, and we're saying we need that getting beyond Harry Kane. Sancho is quick, but he's not that kind of player, I wouldn't say.
It's tough, isn't it? I think he's going to play one of Rashford and Sterling, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's just a case of
which
one. That's true.
Who are we picking? I'm throwing it to you two because there's too many to choose from.
If you've got Grealish, Kane, it's the right-hand side, isn't it?
I think it's so hard. Like, it's actually so hard, I think.
And if you've got Reece James, I know he's not going to get beyond Kane that much. You know, he's got the pace down the right hand side.
Yeah.
I do think you need pace though.
I'd say Rashford.
This is where Southgate.
I'd have Rashford.
I don't like him on the right. I don't think he ever played well for Man U on the right ever.
Grealish has drifted to the right for a couple of times.
Grealish on the right.
No, I
either.
wouldn't
He's
want him
better
there
on the
either.
left.
I think I'd go Sancho then.
Yeah.
Because I would rather it Rashford than Sancho, but on the right, I would rather obviously Sancho.
Yeah.
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 Is he left-footed?
Sancho's the right winger. He's right-footed. He plays. He plays on the right for Dortmund. That's where he operates.
He'd be comfortable there, wouldn't he?
Yeah. Should we sign Sancho then?
Yeah, I'd back that.
So that's our England 11. So I look forward to the game against Croatia where Southgate picks an absolutely completely different 11.
Completely different.
So that is our England 11. Please do let us know in the comments what your starting 11 for the Croatia game on Sunday would be. I know it's slightly controversial, there's lots of options out there, but enough talking about England, let's talk about one of the other home nations going to the Euros. Of course, it is Wales. There's a bit of Scotland chat later on in the video, but now let's talk to Wales. We've got a massive guest on, John Hartson, former Arsenal, former Celtic, former Wales international. Really, really top guy, John. Thank you so much for coming on. And yeah, take it away, John. Let's talk Wales. Like, even as an English fan, this was a really, really good watch. So please stay tuned and check this out.
The Euros now, a few days away. Wales, Euros regulars now. How much are you looking forward to it?
We never qualified for a major tournament for 58 years. And now, remarkably, we've gone back to back, 2016 and obviously 2020-21. Aaron Ramsey, Wales beat Hungary 2-0 at the Cardiff City Stadium, which meant we qualified about, over a year ago now. When you look at one or two other countries, they went to playoffs and, one at Scotland went through on a penalty shootout, and we didn't have to do that because we've done so well in the qualifiers, in the Nations League as well. So it's fantastic, 2 back-to-back. The players deserve an awful lot of credit. Sure. Chris Coleman, of course, led us to the semi-final in 2016. And obviously, there's been a little bit of managerial change with Ryan Giggs. Obviously, he's got some personal issues he's going to have to deal with. And Robert Page, now a good friend of mine. I grew up with Robert, playing in all the different age groups. And he's doing a great job. The lads love him, love playing under him. So it's just a case now of all the preparation is done. We face Switzerland on Saturday afternoon in Baku, which is a great game to look forward to and a massive game as well. That first game is obviously, it's imperative that you don't lose it.
Yeah, in tournament football, you have to take something from that first game. I'm just looking at the group now in front of me. It's not an easy group at all, but I guess after the last Euros, Wales know that they can mix it with the big teams now in tournament football, so they're probably going with very little fear.
Yeah, well, in 2016, I was there. I was covering the games for the BBC, and we got a lucky winning goal against Slovakia. Hal Robson-Kanu sort of sclaffed this shot, and it went in, and we beat Slovakia 2-1 in that first game. And then we got beat to England in the second game. And then the game we played Russia in the third game of the group stages, we hammered them 3-0.
I remember.
I listened to Gareth Bale talking today, and he said that was his best night in a Welsh shirt. He felt that was the best the team had clicked and played together. And that made them qualify into the knockout stages. Then in the last 16, we beat Northern Ireland 1-0. Then we beat Belgium in the quarters. And all of a sudden, you find yourself in the semi-final just because maybe we got that little bit of luck against Slovakia. Yes, the team were getting momentum and ascendancy and everything else. But we had to cope with that second game against England where we lost. But that 3 points against Slovakia, that first game, meant that we only possibly then needed a draw to qualify in second place. We ended up winning the group, and I think England went out.
Yeah, to Iceland. Yeah, we won't talk about that.
I think we were the only. I think we were the only team. I think Wales were their only win in the tournament.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, it wasn't a memorable tournament from an England point of view. It's not one I remember with great fondness, to be perfectly honest. I was reading some stuff about the Wales squad in 2016 last night on The Athletic, and it just sounded like an incredible time. And there's obviously players there that play in that tournament will have carried over that tournament experience now, but there's some new faces in there as well. And I was just kind of comparing the two squads. Do you think what's the differences between the two squads? I know there's a bit of experience missing this time around. There's people like James Chester, Neil Taylor, who would have been at the last tournament. They're not in the squad this time around. So there's some younger players coming through. What are the differences with the squads?
I personally think that the 2016 squad is slightly stronger.
Okay.
Now, I know with hindsight, it's easy for me to sit here and say that because we got to the semi-finals. But I just think that in that team, you had Joe Ledley, you had Joe Allen, you had Aaron Ramsey, absolutely flying at Arsenal. You had Ben Davies, James Chester, Wayne Hennessy, Hal Robson-Kanu scored a great goal against Belgium in the quarter. So did Sam Vokes. A lot of players seem to step up to the plate. Now, this time around, we've probably got a few more younger players, like Joe Morel, who's at Luton, Norrington Davis, who's at Stoke, the left back, Connor Roberts at Swansea, Nico Williams from Liverpool, Chris Mepham at Bournemouth. So there's lots of new players like Dan James at Man United. We've got real quality. I think Kiefer Moore, who's done really well at Cardiff, got a move from Wigan. And we've got no Ashley Williams, who was a rock for us. He skippered the team in France in 2016. He was immense all the way through, Ashley Williams. So this time around, you've got Dave Brooks, you've got Harry Wilson, you've got, Levitt. You've got some really good young players, Ampadu, of course, Ethan Ampadu. And you put that in with the experience that we've got, Aaron Ramsey, Bale, Joe Allen's back. So we go into this tournament not really. I expect us to be competitive. I think we can get out of the group.
I mean, the good news on the injury front is I think I'm right in saying that if the tournament had taken place when it was supposed to in 2020, I think Joe Allen might have been missing. He's a big player.
Yeah, Joe's come back from a serious injury. I think it was just ruptured his Achilles, which was a really difficult one. But he looks sharp now, Joe. He's played a couple of friendlies. We got beat to France last week, which was a ridiculously hard game, the world champions. We got Nico Williams sent off in the first 10 minutes. And not only that, the referee gave a penalty. I don't mind the penalty, but the sending off I thought was a bit... I just think there was no need to send him off because it was meant to be a friendly game. It spoiled the game. So we play in France. We're down to 10 men. We've had to readjust, which I don't think is a really bad thing because we might go down to 10 men, in this tournament. So then we have that feeling then of how we readjust.
Let's talk about the main man. I mean, probably every interview you do, you'll end up talking about him. But Gareth Bale, good to get some momentum for him at the end of the season. He ended the season really strongly for Spurs and looked back to his best. I mean, to be fair, he's always delivered for Wales, but he's obviously going to be the talisman again, isn't he?
Well, yes. He is our talisman. He is our superstar. He loves playing for his country. His commitment over the years has been exemplary, really. And he raises other people's performances around him. He raises the tempo when he gets the ball, and you see him chasing back, and you see him making them incredible lung bursting runs. And generally, he's got a great end product, Gareth. He very rarely wastes anything. 9 goals he got in 9 starts for Spurs. So I don't know where Gareth's future lies, but for now, we're delighted that he's back fit.
I mean, I absolutely love watching Bale when he's not playing against Aston Villa or England. He's one of my favourite players to watch, in all honesty. And Ramsey as well. Obviously, he's been away from the UK for the last couple of years at Juve. It hasn't gone that well for him at Juve, I would say, but it'd actually be nice for him to come and play in a tournament with his mates. Like you're saying, you might see him be revitalised, have a new lease of life as well.
Yeah, well, again, I think Aaron would probably say in himself that the season, Juventus. I don't think Did they make the top four? Did they make the Champions League?
Just made
Just,
it, yeah.
And listen, he's at Juventus. He's gone from Arsenal, having been at Arsenal for 11 years. He's gone over to Italy. He's joined a really successful winning team. Playing with the great Ronaldo, so it's difficult to settle in and learn the language and the culture. I think he's tried to learn the language as well.
Yeah.
But he'll be much better for the experience. Whether he stays next year or whether he moves on, I don't know. But I think he's on a great contract there, and he's done very well. But as I said, he's back now playing for Wales. He'll definitely start at the weekend. I think it'll be Joe Allen, Joe Morrow, Aaron Ramsey, and then Bale and Dan James. That's how I think they'll line up.
Just to finish then, John, I don't know if you're in the game of giving predictions, but what do you think the realistic expectations are for Wales going into this tournament, and how far do you think they can go?
Well, a lot will depend on the first game. Everybody goes on about the first game. I know we've got another two, by the way, after that. But I think the first game, I think, is imperative against Switzerland. They're a team that I feel that we can beat. I know they've got Granit Xhaka and they've got Shaqiri and they've got the boy Shah at Newcastle. Severovic, I think they've got as a striker who plays for Benfica. So they've got some really good players. They'll be competitive, and they will probably be thinking the same about Wales. If we can win our first game, they'll be thinking. I think we can get out of the group. I really do. I think we're good enough. I think the camp is looking great. Good spirit there. So I'm going to say I think we will get out of the group. We might finish second in the group, and then I'm hoping we get an easy draw in the last 16. There's no easy draws, but I hope we get a favourable draw and then maybe just make it to the last 8, possibly. But now that I put the mockers on the team, we might go out in the group stages. Who knows? But obviously, I'm going to be working with ITV, doing lots of radio, and do a few other games as well. So very much looking forward to it. I'm leaving my house on Friday to get down to the hotel in London there. So I can't wait to get in and get stuck into the games now.
Well, I wish Wales all the best, and I wish you all the best as well with your punditry work, John. Really enjoyed speaking to you today. Thank you very much for talking to me.
Brilliant, Dan. Take care. Thanks again.
Take care.
So an interesting chat that was about Wales. Let us know in the comments how you think Wales are going to do in this year's Euros. I think they'll do okay. Whether they'll hit the heights of Euro 2016, like John said, I'm not too sure. But the Wiki Quiz will be a separate video. Not like I said at the start, it won't be included in this, so stay tuned on the Villa on Tour channel for that. But now it's time to talk about all things Euros in general. Who is our pick to win? Who's our Golden Boot winner? Who's our underdog? Who's going to get player of the tournament? That is what we're going to talk about in the next segment of the show, so stay tuned. Let us know again in the comments who's your winner, how do you think England's going to get on, who's your star man, who's going to get the Golden Boot, all things like that. Let us know in the comments. Without further ado, let's take it away.
It's obviously Finn's already decided England are going to win the tournament because they're going to beat France. You have England who you're picking to win.
Yeah.
You've got to back that now. You've got to back that.
He's had a few beers.
No, I'm backing. I'm very, if England won, I would not be surprised. I am confident that they will.
I'd be very surprised,
Really?
Just because we never win anything.
No, that is true.
And Southgate,
that is true.
Is he the man to win you your first major tournament?
True. Actually, side question to that then. You're going into a tournament. England had a vacancy for the managerial role. Who would you have taken you into the Euros?
Mourinho.
I wouldn't mind Klopp.
Really? Klopp?
I think he'd be a good tournament manager.
Do you reckon?
You think
Yeah,
Liverpool have always done one in the Champions League, for example?
Yeah, that's true.
But let's be realistic then. I like Southgate. I'm standing by him.
Is he the man to win you a major tournament?
That's the semis in the World Cup. That hasn't happened for a long time.
Yeah, but again, look at the route there. You'd expect any manager to beat Sweden, Colombia, Panama, Tunisia.
Who are you going to get? Who realistically would you get in? I mean, we're not supposed to even be talking about this, but who realistically would you get in that would be better?
I think Mourinho will one day be an England manager.
Do you think?
Yeah, there's been talk about that before. I said, no, I'd fancy
He's loved by English fans.
But you're saying about Southgate's negativity. It's not like Mourinho's going to come out there and play free-flowing
He'd win you
football.
something, wouldn't he? He'd win you something.
I think Tottenham thought that. He didn't.
He was given like a year.
I wasn't given that long, was
And
it?
they are crap.
English managers, let's say.
Dean Smith.
I knew you were going to say that. We don't need to leave Villa. So
No,
we
of
can
course not.
We can discount
We'll
you.
keep him here.
Honestly, I'm not sure there's much out there that would be any better. I actually think he does a lot of stuff that goes under the radar, Southgate. That's not what we're supposed to be talking about anyway.
No, we'll move on.
You've derailed the conversation. So, you honestly, if you had to pick a team to win the tournament, are you picking England?
I'm picking England in my top 2 or top 3.
I could see us getting to the final. If you look at the routes, if England were to finish top of their group, they'd to play Germany in the last 16. They're not usually beatable for us, but they are beatable. We probably lose on penalties, whatever happens.
Yeah.
You know, if they get through that, then actually the quarterfinal and the semis isn't that bad. I can't remember off the top of my head who it is, but it's not that bad. England, I could see England getting to a final, but I just think if they were to come up against a France, a Portugal, I've not got the faith.
The only side that scares me is France. I think if you come up against any other side, I'd reckon we give them a real good game. Portugal, I don't think they're right at it. Obviously, they're one of the last.
Even João Felix doesn't even get into their team. I don't think Portugal. That's some crazy. The defence can be got out because I think Pepe's still playing and he's older than me.
Yeah, Ruben Diaz though.
He's class.
Yeah, I think it's either Pepe or Jose Font. Next to
He's
Ruben Diaz.
50.
I know. It's rare that players are older than me nowadays. But I think both those players are actually older than me. But you just look at some of the players they've got, it's crazy, Portugal.
Look at England though, Grealish, Foden, Champions League winners there.
We've already talked about the defence and the goalkeeper.
True, that's true.
They're a concern. I can't see past France personally.
So you having France as the winner?
I think so. But even you look at their team, but even they don't play free-flowing football, you know. You look, some of the players they've got, you think, they're going to be great to watch. But, you know, they're quite turgid at times as well. The back four usually is 4 centre-backs.
Yeah.
A lot of teams play like that. Belgium seem to play with the 4 centre-backs as well.
Grealish going at like a centre-back playing at right-back. I'd fancy that.
I think it's Pavard at right-back and Luca Hernandez at left-back for France. Varane, I'm talking myself out of France now. Varane hasn't had a great season playing at centre-back for Madrid. They've got Mbappe. They've bought Benzema back. Yeah. Pogba, I love Pogba.
Yeah.
I know he gets stick. I think he's phenomenal. I think he's...
Kante.
He's
a joke.
Winner.
He's probably one of the favourites for the... Is it the Golden Boot and then what's it called when you win the player? There's the Golden Shoe. It might be called the Golden Shoe. It shouldn't be called that. It should just be called Player of the Tournament. Yeah. It's called the Golden something. Kante, I think he's one of the favourites actually to win that at the moment. France are just... They're too strong.
We've talked about it already. You could have sort of 3 or 4 France sides that could easily compete in the
And that was before Benzema came back.
Their depth is a joke.
Giroud's always been there.
I love Giroud.
I love Giroud as well.
I think he's class.
I love Giroud. He's one of my favourite footballers to watch. Giroud. One of my favourite. I love him down here at Villa Park.
There was talk about it a couple of years ago, wasn't there?
Never ever going to happen.
But no, he's a class player. And I personally would pick France as well for my winners. Just their squad is just far, far too good.
You can never discount Germany. They're quite workmanlike, I feel like, in this tournament. But they've got the best goalkeeper in the tournament, probably.
Yeah, I agree with
Kimmich is arguably one of the best defensive midfielders in the tournament. You know they'll be organised and solid at the back. Sane is dangerous down the left flank. Or he plays on the right flank
number
as well.
9, though, they haven't had a top quality number 9 for ages.
Werner.
Yeah, they haven't, but Werner...
He gets himself in such good positions, but he just could never finish him off for Chelsea.
Yeah,
but he's... gets himself some unbelievable positions.
Yeah, his movement's really good. He's just really struggled this year in front of goal.
Italy are dark horses, you know. Italy and Germany are 2 teams. It doesn't matter what's going on in the world.
Italy are one of those teams that they don't really get talked about.
They're always
there.
Yeah, they always turn up.
Yeah.
I like the look of the Italy side. They've got a good goalkeeper.
Yeah.
The central midfield, Verratti and Jorginho, because they look after the ball so well, they'll just dominate most teams, anyone they come up against. Belgium are the ones as well. Like they get talked about every tournament. It's funny that like Roberto Martinez, who got Wigan relegated, is their manager. they've got some great players as well, although I cannot believe that Vermaelen, Vertonghen and Alderweireld are still knocking around playing for them, because they've been playing for the last 15 tournaments.
I think going forward, Belgium are up there with one of the best sides in the tournament.
Lukaku's
been an unbelievable
underrated
season. De Bruyne is a joke.
The mask, though.
I mean, he's still in football. I don't know. I think Belgium are definitely up there, and I think they'll be contenders. But there's a lot of good sides. I think it's going to be a really good tournament. England, I do fancy us to do well. Will we win it? Probably not.
The problem is with England is that route, because I expect England to top that group.
You'd like to think so, yeah.
I expect France to top their group. So that means Portugal or Germany.
Do you know what? I'd fancy us. I would fancy us in a one-on-one game against one of them.
More so Germany than Portugal. But I'm having us.
Spain? What are you thinking of Spain?
I've just looked at their squad, and I don't think it's on the levels of your Germany's, France, England's.
It's not what Spain were in 2008,
not at all.
2008 and 2010. That squad was incredible. Now it's not as strong. Still got some decent players though. There might be another one that goes under the radar.
Yeah, like in Italy maybe, but again with a number 9, do they have a banging form? Who do they play?
They've got Moreno, who was at Villarreal, who scored in the Europa League final. He's playing up top.
Defensively as well, he hasn't taken Ramos, has he?
But Laporte's coming for them.
Yeah. I didn't realise that he transferred.
That's a decent pickup.
Yeah, 100%. But I just don't think they'll be at the level.
I did notice with Spain, the Brighton goalkeeper is in their squad.
Yeah, what's his name?
Had half a season, Sanchez, and suddenly he's the Spain number 3. I couldn't believe that the other day. So they're not as strong as they were. I think we can discount them.
Yeah.
I just can't see past France.
No, I'd all my money on France. I'd put them on.
See, if it weren't going to be England, it'd be France.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You earlier, you said England.
Yeah, what's happened to you?
No, right.
You say that.
I'm still standing by that England are going to win, but if it's not England, yes, France. I can't see anyone.
Fair enough. About that. It'd be good if it was like an England-France final.
Would it? I think we'd be heartbroken.
Okay,
I'm not sure it'd be great.
No, for a neutral. That'd be a really good competition, but it's a shame it will be in the round of 16, possibly.
Do you think there's any dark horses? I'm talking teams like Denmark, Turkey that could possibly win the tournament.
We've seen it a couple of times, haven't we? Denmark have won the Euros, Greece have won the Euros recently. I just don't see, especially in modern times, I just don't see anyone overtaking the sides we've just mentioned. I just don't see it. Maybe you could have like one sort of, a Leicester winning the Premier League back in 2016, like a one time who just goes on a mental run, but I just don't see anyone really challenging.
Whether you can class them as dark horses or not, Italy are the ones I think to watch.
Yeah, under the radar.
I just think they always turn up to tournaments, and doesn't matter what's going on, they're always good.
Yeah.
They weren't fancied in 2006 when they won the World Cup.
Yeah.
You just fancy them. I fancy them to be an under the radar team. I'm not sure they'll win it because I honestly can't see anyone else.
Who've they got going forward? They got Immobile and
Bellotti are the two strikers. Chiasa's knocking around for them, who's been at Juve this season on the flank. I like Verratti. Verratti and Pogba, 2 players I really like in world football. Although we were about to come onto our 11s of the Euros, I don't think I've put either of them in my team. But I might.
I'm thinking of a player I think is one to watch, and I haven't put him in my team. But Renato Sanchez for Portugal.
Is he still there? Is he still in the squad?
He was like Swansea, wasn't he?
At one point, yeah.
He was at Bayern Munich, then he went sort of off the rails.
Yeah.
He was at Lille. Has he just won?
Not too sure.
He was there. I don't know what he's doing now.
I'm not too sure. But I just see him in them friendlies, and he was unbelievable.
I might Portugal second favourites,
Really?
Wow. A good team, mate.
I didn't expect that.
Patricio in goal. Ruben Diaz has been the best player in the Premier League this season. Attacking options, they're Friday. You can never discount Ronaldo. For me, he's the best player in the world. I think we won't get into that now. But I think you just can't rule him out. João Felix, I don't think he's even going to get into their team.
No.
Like Bernardo Silva, they've got good fullbacks bombing on Guerrero and Pereira.
Cancelo as well.
Yeah, Cancelo.
Yeah, I didn't even think about Cancelo yet. They've got 3 good fullbacks.
And it's the Wolves keeper Patricio, isn't it?
Yeah, Neves.
He's brilliant.
He's a decent player.
Now you say that.
Moutinho's still there. He's a good player as well. I know they're both at Wolves, but they're a good team.
Now you've reeled off some of the names there. You've made me
I'm sure I'm
fancy
missing
them a little
someone.
bit.
I'm sure I'm missing someone else.
Probably, but no, I still don't see them as full-on favourites.
So let's go through it all then now.
Go on then.
Winners.
England.
Oh, he's brave. He's a brave boy.
France.
He's a brave boy. A few beers. He's a brave boy.
No, I'll go France.
I can't look past France either. Golden Boot.
You were talking about Lewandowski, weren't you?
Yeah, there is Lewandowski, but I just don't think that Polish team is strong enough for him to get the Golden Boot.
Yeah.
There's only so much he can do.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
I would say either Kane or Lukaku for me.
I'll go Benzema. I think
Really?
Because France, I think, are going to do so well. I just think him coming in, I think in terms of like European football for Real Madrid, I think he's vastly underrated. He's just scored goals, season after season. And France's squad is a joke, so it will get the supply line. There's no doubt about that. So I think, it'll get Golden Boot.
I'm going to go Lukaku because I think their group I could see him scoring 4 or 5 in that group stage, and I think once you hit those numbers, you've got a decent chance. Kane did it, didn't he? Scored a hat-trick against Panama, and then you've pretty much sealed the Golden Boot.
Yeah.
I'm going to go Lukaku. I think he's a very underrated player. I think he's been sensational for Inter Milan. I think he gets underappreciated in this country a bit, Lukaku. I think he's an out-and-out goal scorer, a phenomenal player. I'll go Lukaku. Player of the tournament.
Kante.
Yeah, I was going to go Kante. Yeah. I think there's obviously after the Champions League tournament they had, there's talk about him getting the Ballon d'Or. I think that might be a little bit much at the moment, but still, what a player. I think, he's definitely going to be up there.
You can just imagine
I'm just going all out for France here.
Yeah,
Golden Boot winner, player of the tournament.
You can just imagine Kante with his stupid cheesy green carrying the trophy at the end of a game, Kai. You can just picture it. Yeah. I would say Kante as well.
Yeah.
So we've all done a team of the Euros.
Yes.
We think the best 11 going to the tournament. The caveat was that we could only pick 2 players from each nation. Mm-hmm. I'm having second thoughts about mine now because I've not I might change it as we go through. I've got my phone in front of me. I might change it as we go through.
Okay.
Goalkeeper. Who have you gone with?
I've gone Neuer.
Neuer?
Yeah.
I've gone Donnarumma. I think he's been like 20 for years. Like he's really, really good. Big guy as well. I think he's class.
Whereas it's rare for me to have a footballer who's older than me. For you, it's probably rare to have a footballer that's younger than you.
It's weird. I think he is slightly older, but even him being at the same age, he feels like he's been playing for AC. He was there when he was like 16, playing week in, week out.
He's also about 8 foot tall.
Yeah, which is mental. So he's class.
I'll put Courtois in mine.
Not bad.
Yeah, good keeper.
Yeah.
Thibaut Courtois. Right, we all should say we're all playing 4-3-3 as well, aren't we?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
In our teams. Gone in right back.
Right back, I've actually gone Reece James.
Have you?
Yeah.
We didn't even. Oh no, we did put him in our England 11.
Yeah, I've gone Reece James just purely because of the good season that he's had. I think he's aggressive going forward. He's brilliant, pacey. So I've gone him. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've actually also gone Reece James.
Have you?
I've gone through the nations. I just can't see another right back standing out.
I mean, if England have got one thing going on, it's right backs.
Yeah. Exactly. So I just can't see another right back standing out to me from any of the, like you said, Pavard for France. Sort of, he's a centre half. Not Reece James got a bit of everything. Pace,
I mean, you'd have picked 11 France players if you could.
100%. Yeah. just go with France, but Reece James for me.
He won't play right back in the tournament. I don't think. I think he'll play midfield, but he's played there loads of times for Bayern. I went for Kimmich.
Yeah, good player.
He's a very good footballer, very intelligent footballer.
Yeah.
And equally as good at right back as he is in central midfield. So I went for Kimmich. Left backs?
I've gone for this because he's brilliant, and I would be murdered if I didn't put a Scottish player in. So Andy Robertson.
I've done the same.
Yeah, me too.
Are we all gone Robertson?
Well, I just think because the other nations, you've got your French players, English players. I think Robertson takes the Scottish because obviously you're only now 2 players from
each nation.
So Robertson straight in.
He's arguably the best left back in the world. Arguably.
Yeah, I'd say so. He's up there.
You didn't fancy the Arsenal left back? Tierney. I know he won't play left back for Scotland.
Tierney,
you could have got yourself an Arsenal player in there.
No,
is he going to play?
He plays left centre back. I think they play back
he
through.
does.
They've
actually played him right back sometimes as well.
Yeah, he's got a decent right foot.
And he's Andy Robertson left back.
Scotland are like us with right backs, but left backs. There are too many good left backs.
Yeah.
But I think Andy Robertson.
Centre back pairing.
Ruben Diaz.
Same.
And
Is it Delict?
It was.
Delict.
Yeah.
Not been the same since he's gone to Juventus. Really good at Ajax, but the
the
players that left Ajax haven't actually gone on and done that well at their respective teams that they've joined.
I think Frank de Jong's probably gone on to be the best.
I mean, he's playing for Barcelona, so it's not a bad life. I'm not knocking his life for 1 second, but they've not hit the heights that I thought they would. I can't remember who my second centre back was.
I've gone Diaz. I think Diaz has 100% got.
We've all got Diaz then.
I've also gone Laporte because
nice left foot.
If he was French, he wouldn't get in there because we've already got enough French players in there, obviously. But yeah, going to Spain, I think he's got to be in there. I think he's a decent option, especially with the Man City connection with Diaz.
I'll put Alaba as my centre back.
He plays all over the place, doesn't he?
He plays centre back for Bayern, though. I know he's going to Madrid. I know he's going to Madrid.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not going to have a great tournament playing for Austria. It's not going to be as fun as playing for Bayern or Real Madrid. But I think if you're picking a Euros 11, this teams that we're picking, they'd have a lot of the ball. So I'll put Alaba as my left centre back. I like the balance of the left footer as well. I don't think it's actually his best position, but picking someone from a team like Austria helped
Yeah, of course.
elsewhere as well. I think we've all got Kante, I'm presuming.
Yep.
All got Kante as,
All
the,
got
as the
Kante.
sitter.
Yeah.
Who have you, all got De Bruyne?
All got De Bruyne. Oh, I have. Have you?
I've got the.
I have,
Yeah,
as,
he's
I
gotta
have
be
as
in
well.
there. He's
I've got
class.
him as my right central midfielder. Who's your left central midfielder?
I've gone Grealish
In the middle.
in the middle because I think going
Grealish.
forward, the front three, the names that I've gone with are far too good for Grealish to get in there, unfortunately. But
Really?
I just think, Grealish in midfield, number 10, sort of going forward. Got to have him in there.
See, I went for like almost 2 sitters. So I went for Rodri.
Did you?
Yeah.
I don't know. I've never been
See,
100% on Rodri.
I think he's like very Sergio Busquets-esque. Not quite there.
Just dictating
but
the game.
He just dictates
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
He just is so cool with what he does, I think.
I want Pogba, but I can't put him in because obviously he affects my front three. If I was to put Pogba in and I've already got Kante, I'll put Mount in.
I put Mount and screwed him out and put Rodri.
Did
That's
you?
a shout.
I put Mount in, as we've already spoke about him on this show, but I just think he's a phenomenal footballer. I think he's a really good player. I think he'll have a really good Euros for England, and I think in that team, I think he'd be really, really effective with what he does. His passing goes under the radar, Mount. Has some lovely through balls.
Yeah. He did in the Champions League final,
There
didn't
was
he?
one ball, I can't remember who it was for.
It was for the goal.
No, in earlier on in the Champions League, he played a ball for someone to go through one-on-one with a keeper. I think it might have been Hudson-Odoi. It was an unbelievable ball in the Champions League final as well. I just think he's got that vision. I think him and De Bruyne are playing in front of Kante. Because you can afford to be a bit more attacking with Kante in your team, can't you? I just think that'd be incredible.
That's a joke, yeah.
Yeah. What's your front three, Finn?
Front three is Lewandowski, Ronaldo, and Mbappe.
Who's Mbappe on the right-hand side there?
I've gone Ronaldo, on the left, Mbappe right, Lewandowski through the middle.
You can't really... To be fair, anyone's front three, I don't think you're going to be able to argue with it. Who've you gone with?
Exactly the same. I think Lewandowski's goal record for years is a joke, absolute joke. Again, Polish, so he doesn't actually take away from any of the other big nations. But his goal return is a joke. He's a proper number 9.
I didn't put him in. I put Kane.
I just think Lewandowski's that
Oh, no, I didn't
little
put
bit
Kane.
above.
I can't have put Kane. No, I didn't. I didn't put Kane in at all. I'm completely lying. I put Ronaldo in as my striker.
As a striker, okay.
That's why he plays more nowadays, isn't
Yeah,
he?
it
He's
is.
got the aerial ability. He's still good on the floor as well.
Yeah.
I think as he gets older, it's going to be harder for him, obviously, to operate as a wide player. I think he'll play as centre forward for Portugal.
I think he will play there, but I just think...
I've just put him because I think he's the best.
He's got to be in there, hasn't he? And it's just like...
Yeah, wherever you put him, he
Yeah,
has to be
yeah,
in there.
exactly, yeah.
And then I've got Mbappe on the right.
Yeah.
And I've actually put Grealish on the left as my second Englishman.
Grealish, fair play.
I had to get him in my team. I
100%.
I think he's world class. And can you imagine him teeing up the balls for Ronaldo?
That's a joke.
And Mbappe on the
Absolute
other side with
disgrace.
his raw pace as well.
Yeah.
I just think that front three has got a nice little balance to it. I think there's a lot of
Yeah.
different things
Different
going
players,
on.
yeah.
I said I went for that, but there's no point in us even trying to combine them and pick a best team because they're all phenomenal teams.
Yeah.
And that is the end of the show. Massive thank you for watching. Massive thank you as well to Luke 1977 for setting all of this up. Massively appreciated. Like I said at the start, feel free to use the code MAX20 to get yourself 20% off pretty much anything at Luke 1977. It's such good quality stuff. And of course, you've got to give a shout out to Dan and Finn. Dan, fantastic work again for hosting. Go and check him out on The Athletic, Who Scored podcast, The Villa View. He's doing lots of stuff. He's a top man. He's really good at what he does, so go and check him out. Finn as well, really good to meet him. He was really good at talking about football. Top guy as well, really nice. So go and check him out in the description. He's got his own YouTube channel as well, so feel free to go and subscribe to that. Instagram, Twitter, you know what to do. So, without further ado, subscribe to this channel, Villa on Tour, and enjoy the Euros, up the England, up the Grealish, and we shall see you in a little bit. It's coming home. See you later.